Every single day, tens of thousands of people stand in front of this building and take the same photograph. They already know the story, the emperor, the empress, the promise. 22 years, 20,000 hands. The greatest love story ever told in stone. And almost everything they know is the postcard version. Because the most perfect building on Earth contains exactly one flaw. One broken line in an ocean of perfect symmetry. And that flaw is a man. The man who built it. He raised heaven for the woman he loved, and then spent his last 8 years locked in a fort upriver, forced to watch it through a window. Before you see the Taj Mahal, you should know what you're really looking at. You don't see it at first. That was the design. Agra comes at you the way old cities do. Rickshaws, smoke, the smell of frying batter, 1,000 voices selling 1,000 things. And then, rising out of the noise, a wall of red sandstone and a gateway the size of a palace. The crowd slows here, goes quiet here. Because set inside that dark archway, glowing like something that shouldn't exist, is your first sight of it. Framed, staged, a reveal designed 400 years ago, and it has never once failed. Then the strange thing happens. You walk toward it, and it seems to pull away from you. Step after step, it grows no larger. The builders bent the geometry itself so that the closer you come, the further it seems to float. And when you finally turn to leave, watch it over your shoulder, because now it grows. You never really leave the Taj Mahal, the old guides say. It follows you out. At dawn, the marble is rose pink. By mid-morning, ivory. It will change again before dark. The building, you slowly realize, is alive in some way you don't have words for yet. 4 centuries of visitors have made this exact walk. Almost none of them ever noticed what's wrong with it. The story everyone arrives with goes like this. A young prince named Khurram saw a girl at a royal bazaar and never recovered. 5 years later, he married her and gave her a new name, Mumtaz Mahal, the chosen one of the palace. For 19 years, they were inseparable. She rode beside him on military campaigns, through deserts and war camps. He trusted her with the imperial seal itself, the mark that turned an emperor's word into law. She bore him 14 children, and in 1631, in a tent far to the south, the 14th birth killed her. The story says that as she lay dying, she asked him for one thing, a tomb the world would never forget. So he built it. 22 years, more than 20,000 workers, white marble hauled more than 300 kilometers from the quarries of Makrana, gemstones arriving in caravans, lapis from Afghanistan, jade from China, turquoise from Tibet. A grieving emperor pouring an empire's treasury into one woman's grave. Almost all of it is true. The bazaar, the campaigns, the 14 children, even the numbers, more or less. But it is the brochure. The real story is stranger and sadder, and it is hiding in plain sight. Start at the very center, the 2 jeweled tombs behind the carved marble screen. The empress in the middle, the emperor at her side. They're empty. Like the Mughals' first great tomb in Delhi 80 years before this one, the real graves lie in a sealed crypt directly below, plain, quiet, almost bare. The famous level, the one in every photograph, is theater. The dead are downstairs. Now look at the walls. The black calligraphy flowing up the great arches grows. The letters near the top are larger than the ones at the bottom, tuned so precisely that from where you stand, every line of scripture appears exactly the same size. The Word of God, corrected for the human eye. And hidden in that calligraphy, a signature. Of the 20,000 people who built the Taj Mahal, exactly one was allowed to write his name on it. Not the emperor, not the architect, the calligrapher, a master from Shiraz called Amanat Khan. the only human name on the whole of paradise. Step back outside. The 4 minarets framing the dome are not quite vertical. They lean outward by design, so that if an earthquake ever brings them down, they fall away from her. See the red mosque on the west side? Now look east at its identical twin. That second building faces the wrong way for prayer. It may have sheltered guests, but it was raised for one reason above all, so the left side of the picture matches the right. And the strangest secret is the garden itself. Every great Mughal tomb before this one sat at the center of its paradise garden. The Taj doesn't. It stands at the very edge on the riverbank because the garden was never meant to end at the water. Across the Yamuna lies a second garden, perfectly aligned with this one. The design doesn't stop at the river runs through the middle of it. Everything here is mirrored, every line is answered, every weight is balanced. One empire's 22-year obsession with perfect symmetry. Remember that, because there is exactly one thing in the Taj Mahal that breaks it. Shah Jahan ruled at the summit. 5th emperor of the Mughals, lord of 100 million people, master of a treasury Europe could only dream about. He built the way other men breathe. Then came Burhanpur, 1631. Mumtaz, 38 years old, had followed him to war one last time, pregnant with their 14th child. The birth went wrong in the night. By morning, she was gone. His own chroniclers, men paid to flatter him, recorded something no flattery could hide. Within months, the emperor's beard had turned white. He shut himself away. For 2 years, there was no music at court, no feasts, no color. Then he answered her, the only way he knew how. Her body was carried 600 kilometers home in state, and on the riverbank at Agra, the full weight of an empire came down on a single point of grief. For 2 decades, the Taj rose, and as it stood finished, his world collapsed. 1657, the emperor falls ill. Before he can recover, his 4 sons go to war over a throne that is not yet empty. The winner is the one nobody expected to show mercy, Aurangzeb. He executes his eldest brother, and his father, the builder of the Taj Mahal, he locks away in Agra fort. For 8 years, Shah Jahan lived in a marble tower 2 kilometers upriver, with one window facing the dome. His daughter, Jahanara, chose captivity beside him and stayed to the end. He had built the most beautiful thing on earth, and it became the view from his cell. He died there in the winter of 1666. They carried his body down the Yamuna by boat at night, almost without ceremony, and laid him beside her. And that is the Flaw. Her tomb rests at the exact center of the chamber, the still point of the entire design. His was fitted in beside it, off-center, unplanned, breaking the one rule this building was born from. For 22 years, an empire kept every line in balance. Then they broke it. For him. The only asymmetry in the Taj Mahal is the man who built it. A building this famous casts long shadows. Some of them deserve to die. You have probably heard that when the Taj was finished, Shah Jahan ordered the hands of his workers cut off, so that nothing like it could ever be built again. Here is the truth. Not one contemporary source says it. Not the court chronicles, not the foreign travelers who wrote down everything. Not one. The story appears centuries later, told about other rulers and other buildings across the world, and it attached itself to the Taj the way shadows attach to light. We even know the craftsmen's families kept working for generations. The legend survives because we find it easier to believe in monsters than in 20,000 ordinary hands. It says nothing about him, It says something about us. Then there is the Black Taj. A French jewel merchant who visited Agra wrote that Shah Jahan had planned his own mausoleum across the river, a perfect mirror of hers in black marble joined to it by a bridge, and that the war between his sons killed the dream. For 3 centuries, people searched the far bank. When archaeologists finally dug there, they found gardens, foundations, a great pool, but no black marble, only white stones darkened by time. And yet, stand in that ruined moonlight garden after sunset and look into the pool. There, on the black water, the Taj appears, perfect, inverted, dark. Perhaps the Black Taj was built after all, out of night and water. One more story claims a European secretly designed it, a tale invented long afterwards by men who could not accept that this rose from here. The building itself is the answer to that one. None of these legends are the Taj, but every great building earns its shadows. These are the ones the white marble throws. And the building is not a relic. It is a patient and a workplace. Every few years, restorers climb the scaffolds and wrap the marble in a paste of multani mitti, fuller's earth. The same clay mask grandmothers across India swear by. The most famous face on the planet gets a facial. It needs one. The river below has sickened, and on bad years, insects rising off the stagnant water leave green-black stains on the stone, while the city's air works slowly at turning white marble yellow. An army of conservationists fights back with clay and chemistry, a war with no final victory, only care repeated forever. It has been protected like this before. In 1942, fearing enemy bombers, they buried the dome under a mountain of bamboo scaffolding, and from the sky, the Taj Mahal simply vanished. They hid it again during the wars of 65 and 71. The only times in 4 centuries this building has ever disappeared were acts of love. South of the Great Gate lies Taj Ganj, the settlement Shah Jahan built for his workers. 400 years later, their descendants still live there. In small workshops off narrow lanes, men still set carnelian and jasper into marble, petal by petal, the way their bloodlines always have. And on Fridays, the gates close to tourists because the red mosque beside the tomb is not a stage prop. It still prays. It is never stopped. Here is the thing the postcards cannot tell you. The Taj Mahal does not stand on rock. Beneath the platform, its builders sank deep wells along the riverbank, a foundation that needs the river the way roots need rain. For 4 centuries, the Yamuna has kept that ground firm. But the Yamuna is dying, and if the river falls too far, the perfect building begins, millimeter by millimeter, to move. The monument to eternal love has a pulse, and the pulse is the rivers. There is a harder truth, too. The Taj was the summit of its empire, and summits come just before descents. The sun who imprisoned its builder had no patience for beauty. The treasury that raised this never raised anything like it again. The Taj Mahal is what an empire looks like at the exact moment before it begins to fall. And maybe that is why it holds us. Grief comes for every human being. Most of us carry it quietly, privately, as best we can. One man turned his into the most beautiful object our species has ever made, and even that could not save him. Love builds, power takes. Time forgives neither. The marble remembers all 3. Come back when the crowds have gone, if you can. For a few nights each month, when the moon is full, the gates open in darkness. A few hundred people, no noise, and under moonlight, the Taj performs its final trick. The marble drinks the light and glows, not white now, but silver, like something lit from inside. Rose at dawn, ivory at noon, pearl by moonlight. The old guides say the building shows the moods of a woman, The geologists say Makrana marble is simply translucent. Stand there in the dark and you will side with the guides. 2 kilometers upriver in Agra Fort, an empty window still faces this dome. The exact view a broken old man memorized for 8 years. And below your feet, in a chamber the crowds never enter, lies the truth of the whole thing. 2 plain graves in the lamplight, side by side, almost touching. No gemstones, no marble screens. Her at the center, him at her side. The Flaw finally at rest, exactly where he chose to be. The monument is upstairs. The marriage is down here, in the dark. The poet Rabindranath Tagore called this building a teardrop on the cheek of time. But remember, 80 years before it rose, in Delhi, a widow built paradise for the husband she lost and taught an empire how to grieve in stone. This was the answer, the student that outshone its teacher, the echo louder than the voice. So when you stand here, don't just photograph the dome. Find the one flaw. It is the most human thing in this entire garden. This is the Taj Mahal.